He's really excited about that. There's no doubt about it. It's one of those things that early in the game, I think it took him a little bit of time to get into the flow and really get it all figured out. But as it went along, he played very, very well. He blocked well. He did the things that Zach Bourne can do very, very well. And, he had that first drop out in the flat, and I was really disappointed on that one. But then he came back and had a couple other catches, a couple of runs, and we actually doubled his run total in his career. So he was real excited about that, plus got his touchdown. So all that was really great, and it's nice to see Zach take such a strong leadership role in this football team, and he's really excited about this week. And the beauty of week 1 to week 2 is he knows there's still a lot he can get better on. He texted me Saturday night and said, "Hey, Coach, I just watched the game," and I said, "Listen, here's some of the things I did wrong and things we need to improve on next week." And it's nice to see him that into it and that excited about what he did, and know that, listen, we got 12 games or 11 games to go, and we got to get better each of those games. Yeah, it really was. And, you can take the spring game and try to piece all that together. You can go through some of the mock scrimmages and the scrimmages you have and try to make all that work. That's not easy, and then game days are a whole different element. One thing about when you go in and you go in a spring game, your defense. You know what they're going to have week 1, and really a new coordinator at Miami. You had to kind of figure some things out early in the game and exactly how the new coordinator was going to play some of the things we were doing. And I thought that went extremely well for game 1. Obviously, like everything else we do, we come back, we critique it, we look at it, we know we want to improve it, and there's some communication things and some things that we want to do better there. But I thought for week 1, I thought it went pretty well. Well, the bottom line is when you get down there, it's as much mentality as if it is scheme. When you get on the 1-yard line and you're Ohio State University, there's got to be a mentality. And everybody talks about the spread offense, and I know Coach Meyer spent a lot of time trying to sell the people, and it's because it's reality that we are going to be a physical team. I mean, a very, very physical team. The off-tackle power play is something they've been running here at Ohio State for the last 30, 40 years, I don't know. But I will tell you this. We didn't execute as well as we need to. My guys got to be very, very physical on it. The running back's got to, drive it up in there and sell that A gap and sell that B gap and keep his feet and run his feet on contact. Every offensive lineman has got to, just get a little bit more loaded in their stance and come off the ball with a mentality that there's no way we're being denied. And that was, something we really, if you look at the whole game, that's probably the number one thing we're all the most disappointed in, because, hey, it's 3 seconds to go in the half. We got an opportunity to really put a momentum swing in our favor, and we didn't do that. And in some other games, you can't miss that opportunity. Well, as far as Coach Meyer is concerned, the one thing was very evident. He's been there before. Obviously he knows what he's doing. He understands the schemes. He understands what's the tempo of a game. It wasn't a yelling and a scream process, even when things weren't going as well early in the game as we liked him. It was all very professional, very organized. Hey, what are we thinking about this? Where, what are you guys seeing? And I think that part of the experience and the confidence that, hey, we'll get it all worked out, and you can sense that from the phone. Okay, we're not happy where we are early in the game and how the offense how the offense was moving. But the bottom line is there was a tremendous professionalism there, and you could sense it. Hey, let's do this. Let's think about this. What are your thoughts to that? And the typical coach talk without a lot of emotion, because I've seen press boxes that are so emotional, it's really hard to concentrate and do a great job on game day. No, I think structurally we really had a great feel for where they were and what they were doing. And I also thought, you could see when you watched the film how close we were. We really were close on some plays of executing it better. And the beauty of football, it's one of the greatest, it is the greatest team game ever invented, is you have to have 11 guys do it right on every play. And really early in the game we had 9 or we had 10, and that one guy was just kind of letting it down. And it wasn't one guy in particular. It was on this play or that play or this situation. And really what we got we got together was we had 11 doing all the things right, and you could sense it in the press box, at least where my seat was. That structurally we were okay. The calls were solid. We had a great grasp of, and they didn't have a lot of changes from a year ago in their defensive structure once we got into it. So we had a great feel from where they were, and the bottom line is we just needed to get 11 guys. Get out of that game jitter, get out of that first game time and new offense and all that stuff. And let's just go play what we've been practicing. It's all right. Here we go. And we did that. And, the one thing, I think we can be an explosive football team and have some explosive players. And we made a couple explosive plays. And Coach Meyer mentions all the time to our football team about the idea of momentum. And once we grabbed the momentum, I thought we did a great job of keeping that momentum. Well, I got to tell you, you never want to let any player think it's okay. The bottom line is we want to go out and play well every snap, every game, and every situation. You also know, there's been a great saying in football forever. You're going to really probably improve the most you will for the year between game 1 and game 2. And we certainly have a lot to improve on, and you all saw it, and we're evident to it. We have to get better in some phases of the game, and we certainly went to work already and spent a lot of hours already getting ready to improve those phases. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and what creates momentum sometimes is a big hit or a big run or a great effort or, Devin Smith's one-hand grab. What creates it? I think you could write books on how that one thing happens. A great 12-play drive with good momentum, all of a sudden you can sense it, or an explosive play, or maybe a big special teams play, or a great hit on defense carries on to the offense emotionally. I'm not exactly sure, over all the years I've been doing it, what that spark is, but boy, can't you sense it when it happens. I mean, we all have been there enough to say, once that happens, you can get a feel, and here it is. And obviously the first touchdown was an electrifying play. I mean, as good as you'll see. And so it was the spark, it was the catalyst. And I love the fact how we came out in the third quarter and created that momentum right back from the end of the first half that we didn't have. And of course, we had that big, long run in the begin the third quarter. So we were able to create some of those situations. And we got to be more consistent, obviously, offensively. Well, the film we've seen so far, it's a good, solid football team. They're not an overly complicated defense, and sometimes you look at that and say, oh, hey, boy, we'll be able to do this or do that to them. But what happens is the teams that really, really are kind of a basic fundamental team, they know their defense very well. And they're always banking on knowing their defense ahead of you knowing where your offense. So they're very sound. They're very fundamental. They play, secondary coverages where they're going to keep the ball inside and in front, as we say, and they're going to make us earn yardage. They're trying to eliminate the explosive play, and they're a base 4-down defense, and they do have some multiple things. And I'll bet you a lot of money that there's a few little things they'll bring to this package that they didn't show last Saturday against Akron. So I would imagine there's some things that we haven't seen with the new coordinator that they'll bring into the day. And obviously our job is to adjust to those when they arrive. But, there's no way to know what they are. I was very pleased. Nick had a couple catches. Jeff Herman graded out very well on how he blocked. He did a great job. Really didn't have an opportunity to catch the ball, but he came in, played very physical. Zach Bourne did very, very well. I thought once he got over that first quarter, because it was an adjustment for him. And really, we did a little more attaching of Jake Stoneburner. I'm sure everybody noticed he lined up at the tight end position some and did some of those things. And he's a guy that, I thought did a good job. He needs to improve on some things being attached. But I'll tell you this, I think that group's really done very well. I think they work very hard. I was very pleased putting those young guys in the game, that they managed the emotion of 105,000 and all the excitement at Ohio State. I thought they did very, very well. And yeah, I think that we'll continue to try to get them in the game and get them more reps and gain confidence with their offense. I was fortunate. I'm sitting right beside him, obviously in the press box. And the one thing you can sense when you're really in a situation where you're a no-huddle spread, and we do a lot of fast tempo stuff, trying to keep the defense and not allow them to line and make a lot of quick adjustments, is the play caller's got to be, really sharp on the next call as soon as he makes the first call. That calls, they start, and sure, we're trying to ID the defense to see what the front is and the coverage and how they played it. But he's already thinking of that next call so that it gets in and it's rolling, and know the down and distance and situation we're going to use it. And it's amazing because it isn't a slow down, look at my call sheet, here's my best. It's got to be something that's very ingrained in how you call. It's a pattern in what you call. And I thought Tom did a phenomenal job of that, and sitting with him in a staff room every day and sitting with him every day or going out on the field. He has a great feel of this offense. He has a great feel for the spread and great feel for tempo. And I think he does a phenomenal job of managing that, and, without sitting there reading that call sheet, that proverbial call sheet. In spread offenses, that's really all done in between series and not during a series.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thanks.